Hello, everyone. This is Vernon Stating with the Pawnbroker Advisory Conference and Devoted Pawn Consulting. Today, we're going to talk again about the Pawnbroker Advisory Conference in Clearwater Beach, Florida. If you don't have the dates on your calendar, you better mark it down September 10th through the 12th. And we are running out of space with this deal at the hotel. I'm trying to beg them for a little bit more room. I think we're down to the final 10 rooms or so in the room block. And so we're trying to get some more there. But we'd love to have you. You can find out more information at pawnconference.com with the website on your screen there. And if you aren't aware, don't know about the organizers, PawnMaster is probably the largest software company in the United States as it relates to pawn and jewelry, and they're one of the main organizers along with Hall of Fame Financial and myself. And we really wanted to put this group together and put this event on to help pawnbrokers like you make more money and be more successful. And of course, we're backed by the best sponsors that you could ever possibly want. We've got the three largest vendors, I believe, in the industry: Bluestone Trading Company that buys and sells diamonds and estate jewelry wholesale. We've got United Precious Metal and Refining, I believe by far the largest in the United States, and Wexner Insurance Agency out of Florida. So you guys are going to see them down kind of in their home territory. So we're excited about the sponsors and appreciate them sponsoring this event. And today I'm really excited because we're going to talk a little bit about our newest presentation that we have to announce, which is Guns.com. And they're going to be talking a little bit about, actually a lot about guns, but they're going to talk specifically how to sell your firearms online more affordably. And so we're going to talk a little bit about them and this industry, and also introduce you to Jeff. Jeff is going to be the presenter for Guns.com, and he's on the podcast here today. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing great. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. I've been blessed to get to know you over the last month or so, maybe a little bit more actually, since NPA in Las Vegas, and I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. I love the URL, guns.com. It doesn't get any more simpler than that, and that actually relates a lot to what you guys do. But I want to talk about your background a little bit right now, and let the people here that are listening and watching get to know a little bit about you and what you know about guns. So go ahead.
Yeah, I've been blessed with a great career so far in the firearms industry. I started back in 1999, working in sales for a distributor that eventually led to a regional sales manager position for a very large national distributor, which was a lot of fun because that particular distributor, we were really focused on value add type of value add services for dealers to help them improve their businesses. And we sort of went off on a different path than other competitors to try to change the industry and help our retailers be more successful. 2005, we launched an industry changing data sharing and auto replenishment initiative that really changed how retailers would manage their businesses from an inventory standpoint. And so through that, we grew and had a lot of fun working for that particular distributor. That led me to Guns.com in a business development role for this company, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and just really happy to be involved with the pawn industry.
Yeah, and that's good. And you're not a newbie. You're definitely not a newbie as it relates to guns and pawn and working with professionals in this industry. Obviously, you've been doing that for a while, right?
Yes, that's correct. I've seen a lot of change in this industry with the presence of big box back in the early 2000s, and how that space grew and put pressure on the independent channel. And then today, how the internet and e-commerce sales has really changed the landscape, or is changing the landscape for both independent dealers and pawn dealers as well when it comes to firearm sales.
Yeah, change is the name of the game in the pawn industry. We've had a lot of change, as you know. One of the things that we talk about all the time is that this industry has changed, I think, more in the last 5 to 10 years than it's probably ever changed before that. And firearms is part of that change right now with the way people are buying and selling, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I think that's probably a good segue as we get into that. So, I want you to spend some time a little bit talking about how Guns.com is different. I mean, people are probably aware of some of the huge names, the gun brokers and the arms list, but I want to spend some time talking about how Guns.com is different and how you perceive that to be different, and also how you guys are going to continue to change and evolve.
Sure. So we started Guns.com first with the content side of our business, and that's important for a couple of different reasons. Is number one, we want to be known as a great news source for the consumer to come and get great education, good content, whether it's our social media, which is extremely strong compared to our competitors, our YouTube channel, other types of marketing or content that we put out there. And that's important because it's driving a continual set of consumers coming to our site. It also helps us with SEO to always drive new customers to Guns.com. As we all know, on social media platforms and certain places on the internet, to market firearms is a bit tricky. So having content is really important, and we see our competitors now that they're trying to develop content on the backside, which is smart. Obviously, we're already there. On the overall vision of Guns.com is really create a marketplace that is a great consumer experience, that the level of service when a customer or a consumer wants to buy a firearm is top notch. So they don't have to try to figure out how to transfer a firearm or what dealer to call. In some cases, if they buy a firearm from another marketplace, they've got to do a bunch of that type of work, where we do all of that in-house for the consumer. And then from the dealer standpoint, it's really, we're trying to look at all of the things a retailer has to do to list on a marketplace. What can we eliminate and take out of that process for them to reduce their labor costs and make it as frictionless as possible for the dealer?
That's very good, and I see a lot of different things that you guys are doing here that I think really play well with even some of the stuff that's out there. And so, we know a lot of our clients use arms lists locally. I think it seems like you guys could even be used in conjunction with that to get to that national scene. And I like that you guys are making life easier also, not only just for the end user, the consumer, but talk a little bit about how you make life easier for the pawnbrokers and how much easier it is to list items and all that kind of stuff. Do you have some time to talk about that?
Absolutely. Well, first, we are focused on leveraging technology wherever we can to help get listings to the site. So we are engaged with all of the major point of sale providers, both in the firearms retailing space and the pawn space, to develop integrations that are affordable for the dealer and are functional, that where they can get their listings up to the site, but then also manage the ordering process through those sites if they so choose. So updating the inventory as a firearm is sold on our site or in their store, where it's a full circle integration. All of that is being developed today, and we think that is important for dealers so they can ultimately list more firearms with, again, less labor where they can. So that's important, is leveraging technology. That's part of that change piece in the industry that all of us need to be focused on. And then one of our biggest differentiations is the fact that when a consumer is shopping with Guns.com, that's who they're shopping with. They are shopping on our platform, and we take care of all of the consumer transaction and questions and calls, and all of that happens through our store. So if a dealer wants to get on a national presence for their new or used inventory, but they don't have the capital to invest in either build their own site or invest in someone to manage those listings and that sale process in the store, you can basically outsource that to us, and we take care of all of that consumer piece. And that's been a very appealing piece of our strategy to dealers, especially in the pawn space, as we found out at the MPA a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think, from my perspective, I think that is a huge selling point that nobody knows or nobody's talking about right now. The two biggest obstacles that we see with our clients, trying to sell anything online, whether it's guns or merchandise in general, they struggle with, how do I get it online? And I don't know anything about online, so how do I get it there? How do I start? Where do I begin? But also, do I need to have, or I'll probably need extra staff then to manage the listings and all that kind of stuff. And so if they can outsource a big chunk of that, I think that's absolutely huge for you and for them. It's a win on both sides of the game. So I definitely think what you guys are doing is needed. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about, what it is that you guys do, or, why someone would use you over one of the competitors. But I think that there's a beautiful complement here in a lot of ways, where they can still kind of use some of the stuff they've done in the past, obviously including retail, but also work with you guys and see the difference and the change that's out there. I agree with that totally.
Yeah, it really, I think that's very true. I think we'll have retailers and pawnbrokers that use us solely or individually. We're the only marketplace they have firearms on, and we'll have some that they'll list on multiple platforms. A lot of times, if they're very tech savvy and have devs resources on staff, they're doing that already. They're pushing inventory out to multiple places and they're able to manage it. But I think we complement, you mentioned Arms List. I think we can complement, a dealer that is on Arms List. That's a great local, resource. It's driving customers back into your store. I think it's smart for any retailer today to have a thoughtful omni-channel type presence. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Where we come in is more of a national audience for your listings, in a way that your labor investment to do that, manage that, is greatly reduced at very competitive fees. So, when a firearm is sold, we are taking care on our end, all of that transaction that happens for the dealer, such as the credit card processing with the consumer, reaching out to the final destination FFL and getting a copy of that. We are generating all of the shipping, and basically everything is sent to the dealer, the selling dealer, through an email that they print out. They put the label on the outside of the box and ship it. And once it leaves your store, we're basically ACHing your funds right into your account. That's so awesome. Think through all of that time savings, and we think it's about 50% of the labor investment for the dealer that is listing on a marketplace or selling on a marketplace.
Well, that's a good selling point, and I think that's something you guys need to make an emphasis on. Obviously, both as you continue to market and grow, but saving 50% of the labor is absolutely huge. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about your next the next thing we're going to talk about too, which is, why did you decide to be part of, the Pawn Conference event? Obviously, there were other opportunities for you guys to speak and present at. You were at NPA in Las Vegas, where we saw you and ran into you. And it's cool to find other people that have offices in Minnesota. That doesn't happen very often. But why this event? Why did you decide to be part of our event and try to speak to the masses down there in Florida?
Sure. Yeah, like you mentioned it. So we've been calling and focused on the pawn industry. I would admittedly say a bit fragmented, which was definitely not the right approach. But we listed at or had a booth at the MPA Expo in Las Vegas, and the feedback from the pawn dealers in attendance was unbelievable. Our booth was swamped the entire time, and it was pretty clear at that point that through conversations with pawn dealers that this is just a tremendous space for us, which we figured, but this definitely validated all of that, which then obviously led us to conversations with you and this opportunity that we have to get in front of what sounds like some very forward-thinking pawn dealers, at a great venue and a great event. So we're just really excited, to be a presenter here and continue developing relationships in the space and talking about why they want to use us versus, maybe a different marketplace that sells firearms.
Yeah, I think it's from a couple things you mentioned there that you hit on, I think very forward-thinking people, and one of the things that is important to remember about this event, a lot of the folks that are coming to this, I'd say probably 80 or 90% are not going to other events. They weren't at NPA, and so it's kind of a different group of people that you're going to get in front of. And what we tend to see is people that come to an event, of ours, especially, the trainings or webcasts that we've done in the past. We've never done an event this large in person, but the trainings and events and podcasts and webinars that we've done in the past tend to be, kind of like your upper echelon of the industry. And I think that they're really going to love what you guys are doing. And if you're about education, which it seems like you are, this is definitely the event that you guys want to be at for certain.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. And this is the type of pawn dealer and a customer for us that, it's kind of cliche, but we're really about developing partnerships with our listing dealers. We also, one of the things that is unique about Guns.com is we're a closed marketplace. So we are only working with verified brick and mortar retail storefronts, whether that's in the firearm space or, of course, in the pawn space. And so, private sellers and home-based FFLs, that's just not going to be listed on our platform or marketplace. And so, with that, we're very narrowed in our focus. We're looking for the right type of retailer that, again, is learning or trying to figure out how to sell more. Change is something that they're okay with, and looking at new opportunities like Guns.com is appealing, and I think we're going to see that in spades when we get down to this conference, especially if it's folks that didn't make it to NPA and it's a new audience. We're just really excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, the embracing change is big, and we thought about actually naming the conference or titling it as our key words, embracing change, because if you want to grow your business, I had a guy in Las Vegas actually tell me, he's like, I'm sorry that I was short with you when we had some conversations about hiring you, and he's like, the problem that I struggle with in this industry is I want to do what I've done for the last 20 years and have it work again. And I'm like, we're just past that. And he obviously understands that. But the people that are going to actually take that, mindset and do something with it and embrace some change and do some things different are the ones that are going to succeed and the ones that are going to get to the next level. So I'm excited to have you as part of this event. We know it's going to work well. And I know that you guys are going to be a big hit, and we're going to help you get there. And we're going to do this together. So I'm excited about that. One of the things that is also a good discussion point here right now that I think is important, and we've already kind of highlighted some of the pieces here, but how do you see this helping the pawn industry? I ask everybody that's coming to be part of our event this question because we're not only about helping the individual pawnbroker, but how are we going to help shape this industry in general? Because not only do the pawnbrokers need to change, but this industry needs to change and morph into something different that it hasn't been before. So how do you see what you guys are doing help to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to firearms sales through pawn stores, it's all about turning inventory as fast as you can, or, within making margin, but turning inventory so it's not, sitting there with turns of 2 or 1 per year. And we're working with a national marketplace that is focused on leveraging technology and reducing dealer labor and help managing the consumer process for the dealer so they don't have to get into that. I think all of that makes tremendous sense for a pawn dealer to expand your reach, expand your customer base, increase sales, increase turns. move some of this inventory that you have in your store, turn it into cash. And so I think our platform helps a pawn dealer who is a retailer, and as I'm learning in the world of pawn, you come to work every day, and this is what every pawn dealer told me in Las Vegas was, we love it because every day is different. What comes through that door for me to, from a customer that brings in is different every day. And we know that they're inherently very busy. And so if we can help them in this space, help them, again, take some of that labor out of the process for them, I think it's a win-win, and they should sell more firearms. And obviously, we would develop more partnerships with these dealers and increase our listings and grow our marketplace. So I think having firearms on a national marketplace is really something a dealer has to be focused on today.
I agree, and we see probably about 50% of the folks that we work with don't use anything at all, other than their work on the customers that come in on normal retail setting across the counter. And so you've got to get and do something online. And so I definitely see this helping in that sense. I also see it helping the folks, not only the beginners that need to figure out how they can get started, but the experts that are out there that have been selling maybe on 2 or 3 different formats already. Let's continue to do that and use a fourth one, use you guys to help kind of shape and change what's going on. And I definitely think they're going to get in front of a different type of marketplace that's out there. So I think there's a lot that you guys bring to the table. I'm super excited about having you guys as part of this event. I can't wait to, I almost wish, the conference was right now. We know it's not, and thankfully, because we want to get more people out there, but we're excited to have you. And, I thank you so much for being part of this, not only this event in September, but as part of this podcast today. And we thank you for that very much, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Vernon, and we're excited to be part of this and excited to be at the Pawn Conference in just a few weeks.
If you'd like to find out more about this Pawn Conference, you can visit the website on the screen here at pawnconference.com, or you can call us directly at 727-580-5876. And you can find a listing of all of our presenters, not only Jeff, but all of our presenters that are going to be there. We've got 14 different topics that are going to be covered, and we're adding potentially 2 more before we get down there in September. So stay tuned, check out the website for updates, and we look forward to seeing everyone in Florida.